Welcome to Mainland, your local regional television station. I'm Tanya Omar, and some of the stories coming up in today's news: Mapua locals over the fence, will Tasman District Council address social isolation in Queen Street redevelopment, local park under assault, and more. Figures presented to Tasman District Councillors Thursday last week have shown for the first time since its opening 6 months ago that the new $1.2 million Mapua Precinct Shed 4 complex has sustained a budget blowout of $577,000, nearly half the original total amount budgeted for the whole development. Tasman District Councillors immediately called a halt on the unbudgeted spending, and a report over the unbudgeted spend-up is to be presented to them at a meeting later this month. Chrissy Small caught up with Tasman District Councillor Judine Edgar over this budget blowout surprise.
Judine Edgar, $577,000 overspend on this Mapua Precinct project. And counting, I guess.
As far as we know, and for me that's the big concern, is we had one line in a May report saying there have been cost overruns. Overruns usually is, I guess, a fairly minor amount in most people's minds, and there was no figure to it. And finally, in our financial report that came to council on Thursday, there was 577, majority of which related to this project. And of course, yes, there is work that hasn't been done.
What does that equate to in the actual budgeted cost of this area?
Well, the budget for the Shed 4 project was $1.2 million. So
that's over a 50% increase on top.
Absolutely. And so it's unbudgeted and unapproved expenditure. And that's where my real concerns come in, is that this work happened, it took place, councillors weren't informed, and councillors didn't get the opportunity to have any input on what should happen. So the irony, at that same Thursday meeting, there was a report about the Golden Bay Service Centre, and it was following process. And what it had required was, it said, okay, the project is going to come in over budget, so here is how we could reduce the scope of the project to be within budget. Here is what we could do within the budget. Here is the amount of money we need. Here are the reasons why, and here is where it will be funded. And that's process.
Mainland has requested an interview with Tasman Mayor Richard Kempthorne to discuss the cost overruns to find out what this could mean for ratepayers. Panel shops in the region are doing well due to the amount of accidents that are occurring on our roads. However, not all of the damaged vehicles are covered by insurance. There has been a question of whether third-party insurance should be made compulsory in New Zealand. And this week, a local woman, Jeannie, arrived in our studio to tell us about what she's doing to address the issue.
Jeannie, you've come into our studio today, just popped in out of the blue. You've got a passion about third-party insurance at the moment, and you've started a petition. Tell us why and how people can get behind it.
I was tootling up the road the other day, and I was coming up past McDonald's at about lunchtime, and this car came out of nowhere. It did a U-turn out of Z Energy and crashed into my car. He pulled over to the side of the road. I pulled over to the side of the road. We both got out. He approached me, said, "It's my fault. I accept responsibility, but I have no insurance." So he gave me his details, which was good. I went straight to my insurance company, filled out the claim. My insurance company has been ringing him every day for 7 days and still hasn't got a hold of him. So I started running this petition down on the street, and it's got a photograph of my car crash, and it's got a big notice saying third-party insurance compulsory in New Zealand, because it's compulsory in Australia, America, Italy, Great Britain and Germany and possibly other countries. So I think it should be compulsory in New Zealand. So when you have a car accident, you immediately get covered.
Right. So one way of, I guess, dealing with it, we have our ACC is paid through our car registration. Do you think third party, for those people that can't prove they have insurance, would have to pay through their registration? Is that one way of getting around it?
That's actually what I'm aiming for, because people who already have an insurance party policy,
Yeah.
they can already prove that they have this by a document that they hold, and they don't have to pay twice for it through the car registration. But people who don't have any policy would have to pay through vehicle registration. Now, I'm not talking about just cars, I'm talking about all vehicles that are on the road. Everybody who drives is actually driving a weapon, and it can kill. And we all know that by the figures of our road accidents. So I believe that anybody who's holding a weapon should actually have a licence and to have insurance for it.
Right. Now, Jeannie, this petition, how many signatories have you, how long has it been going? How many signatures have you got?
Well, I only went out yesterday and I've got a full page of 30 signatures, and I've got another board round at the library I haven't checked yet, and I've got 2 boards going on the street, plus I've got an internet petition, which you can find the link for on my Facebook page, which is called Third Party Compulsory Insurance. And I've also got it on neighbourly.co.nz, and I'm getting heaps of responses to it.
Great. Okay. Fabulous. So if people want to get behind, look out for these petitions in the libraries.
And outside Kodak.
Right, there you go.
Yep.
In Nelson, of
On
course.
Trafalgar Street.
Yeah. So get behind it, because a few of us have been in this situation. One of my pet gripes is car parks. How many people just, and I must admit, I've got dents in my car that could only be caused by 4-wheel drives, big SUVs. And, and my car is my pride and joy, and now it's just getting beaten up by people in big SUVs who just whack open their door. One of them has even been from an SUV backing out and the bull bars hitting the back end of my car. Not one person has left a note to say, I've done this damage.
It's the same with me. I've come out of a supermarket and I found this scrape on the side of my car with a totally different colour paint to mine. And obviously some car has scraped past it and not stopped to say it was me.
Yeah. So people out there who drive these big vehicles actually need to take responsibility. If you've got kids in the car and you damage someone else's car, what are you teaching those children? So we have to really be aware of the messages we're giving in our community by how we treat people and their property. And that's my pet gripe. So I haven't got a petition yet.
You should be taking one.
But I'm going to support
yours. Find a cause.
I'm going to support yours. Thanks, Jeannie.
Thank you.
Elder Abuse and Neglect Awareness Day on Wednesday highlighted social isolation as a contributing factor. Richmond local Mr David Kemp, whose submission to the Tasman District Council on the redevelopment of Queen Street raises concerns the council is not taking social inclusion and community-friendly spaces into consideration. David, what are your concerns around the redevelopment?
Well, of Queen Street there, I'm really concerned that, going back to what Judine Edgar was saying there, the need for more consultation with the community there, and I feel like there's social, it's talked about, but it's not actually brought out into the community. It's social isolation, and you don't need to be old to be socially isolated. There can be young mums, high school kids, whatever.
So how can the redevelopment address social isolation?
Well, I think there should be real good strategies for people to communicate between places, walking or cycling, and there's places where you can sit down, where you can have a conversation with various people. Like you get these cards here, and they're talking about talking and sharing and stuff, but where do you do it? The seating isn't conducive for it, and what we do in Queen Street is going to affect generations to come. And is this what we're going to be proud of, what we give to our future generations with the design of Queen Street there? And if we don't get it right, the town is going to suffer in the future.
So you talked about the councillor Judine Edgar and yourself concerned about the voice of the community not being heard. I thought there were submissions that you could put into council, and why do you think they're not hearing the voices?
Well, what really concerns me is that they said the development of the Queen Street would be along the same concept of Croucher Square, and I don't think Croucher Square works. You know, it's not. People don't naturally go there because it's such a neat place to be there. You know, do the designers take their friends in there when they come into town and look at what we did? You know, anything less than that is not good enough. You know, if you want a break, you go to Washbourne Garden. That's lovely being there, but in the centre of town, what is there? Whoopity-doo. And it's painted grey. Everything's painted grey.
Well, how do you think that Field Junction plan is going to affect the hub of a town centre in Richmond?
Well, these are some of the threats that the council has to look at, and the shop owners and the citizens. You know, if that's the centre of their town, you know, let's make it the centre of our town. You know, it's a sense of ownership and safety and stuff there, rather than decisions being passed down. See, I asked through the Age forum, I forget the name of it now, but are they going to liaise with us? And I was told that we won't be consulted now until the plans come out in November. Well, I think that's way out of line.
Because when does redevelopment start? I've heard February.
Yeah, well, the thing is that they're coming up with these plans, and I don't know how they're going to be altered later on if you don't agree with it, but I would like to see some consultation with these planners and come up with something that's really good, and not something that is like Croucher Square. It looks like a Starland fun park. It's all painted grey. It's not socially inviting and stuff.
Thank you, David. Age Concern Nelson Tasman held a morning tea this week on Elder Abuse Awareness Day, and Chair Charles Terrell spoke saying elder abuse can be wider. He noted that institutional abuse also needs to be taken into consideration where local government or national government is not putting the needs of the elderly population in their policies. My personal situation is our elderly relatives seem to be well cared for. I'm not aware that there's any issue in our region. What would you say to me?
Well, statistics unfortunately indicate that there is a problem. There are around about 18% of cases that aren't reported of the overall amount that do come to the attention of the authorities. So there is a lot of cases that are unreported. But in saying that, I'd just like to point out that it's not all negative. There are cases where there are older people in our community who are cared for by family members, who are cared for by their neighbours, who are cared for by the community, and it's not all negative, but what we need to do is identify those people that are at risk and actually make sure that they that they're safe, essentially. It does happen, unfortunately, but it's really a matter of mitigating the risks.
How would we identify this in our neighbourhood?
You could look at behaviour of the older person. There may be unusual goings on in their home. They may be getting visitors that you think what's actually happening here. The inappropriate times, inappropriate people going to their home. They may be vulnerable to financial abuse by a group of people. Changes in behaviour, changes in health, just a general gut feeling that, hey, something's not quite right there, and maybe a phone call to a family member that you know, or in more severe cases, obviously, to the police, or if you want to, just advice from us.
Mapua residents are gearing up to stage a protest at Mapua Wharf this Sunday at midday over the council dividing the Wharf precinct with a fence that is not fit for the purpose of hiding bins and gas bottles in the service lane behind the newly built Shed 4. The fence, residents believe, has been placed there for reasons of spite, hiding from view the building in which former wharf business Hamish's is moving into. This has drawn a line for the community, and they're getting ready to let council know that they will not tolerate the victimisation of local business and owner Adele Culto. Mainland News interviewed Tasman District Council councillor Judine Edgar last weekend, and she was at a loss to explain the fence after acknowledging it as being unfit for the purpose of blocking the service lane from view, saying that council should be building bridges, not walls. Now residents believe that council commercial management should be under the spotlight, with cost blowouts and relationships with neighbours sinking to an all-time low, according to our local source. Golden Bear Brewery has had to remove its public toilet block after it was discovered that they had been built on the neighbouring property owned by Donny Yelverton, who is the landlord of the old Mapua cool storage building. It seems that retaliation levels could be escalating as a forklift vehicle owned by Yelverton has been parked on his land, blocking the side entrance of the Golden Bear building owned by council. One tenant of the cool storage retail building has resorted to photographing vehicles parked in the building's tenancy car parks and having their wheels clamped if they're using council tenanted businesses. Mapua locals willing to talk off camera with Mainland TV have said that since council have appointed Mr Cooper as commercial manager of the council-owned wharf buildings, relationships of businesses on the wharf have deteriorated considerably, and that locals are feeling that the responsibility for the escalating ill will lies directly at council's doorstep. Pioneer Park in Nelson has become the scene of another police investigation after a man was found unconscious with head injuries in the park this week on Wednesday, during the afternoon near Washington Valley, by men working nearby. Police are investigating the attack, which they suspect happened at the man's residence, with continued investigations into the incident to establish the injuries are a result of an assault or by other means such as medical condition. Last week, another man had been assaulted in front of his children at the same park. We spoke to a member of the community about the effect the violence could have on her and her children with visiting the park. After hearing these reports, and you are a local resident who brings your daughter here to play, how do you feel about this?
Well, it's slightly unsettling, knowing that there's these attacks going on around in our local area. We only come down here during the day, so I've always felt safe coming down here during the day with my daughter. But it would definitely, I wouldn't walk through here at night by myself or anything like that after hearing about these. Yeah.
One report says that the man was found unconscious during the day. Does this affect your consideration of coming here?
Oh gosh, yes. Yeah, absolutely.
Have you had any concerns in the past about coming to Pioneers Park?
No, I haven't. And to be honest, I hadn't heard of these attacks until you told me about them. Yeah.
And as a local resident, what are your thoughts around this region? If other people think, oh, I wouldn't want to go there, it's unsafe, what would you like to say to the other locals?
I guess there are a lot of positive things about this area as well. And I guess it's good to not lose sight of those when these attacks come on. And quite often I sort of feel when things like that happen, it's a good time for the community to come together and support each other rather than leave. And I think there's a lot of positive people in this area as well.
Anyone with information in relation to the incident is urged to contact Nelson Police on 03 546 3840. Once a grand old dame of Nelson's Main Street, Trathan's department store in Trafalgar Street is coming down. The building is one of a kind and was built by Ben Trathan in the 1920s to be a family-run department store. The building, known for its beautiful roof-line window, was constructed in the neo-Mannerist style and held a Category 2 heritage listing. The family ceased to operate the building as a department store in the 1990s after 70 years of trade and leased out the ground level space to 3 independent retailers. Cordons are up on Trafalgar Street, and even Hone Maheke has moved along a bit from his usual farmer's position to make way for the building's demolition. Plans for the site show that a multi-million-dollar, 2-storey complex with upstairs outdoor dining will be built to replace the former department store, Trathan's Properties, We asked people in Nelson their thoughts on the building's removal and if they have any old memories of it.
Well, I remember many a lunch hour spent in Trathans looking at the beautiful materials. I used to do a lot of dressmaking in those days, and scarves and makeup, bathing togs. It was a one-stop shop for me.
Well, it was Nelson's department store, really, wasn't it?
It was, yes, a good size, and it was upstairs too, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, beautiful staircase going up there. Yeah. How do you feel about it being demolished?
Well, if it has to be demolished for safety purposes, then I would go along with that. I don't think a lot of money should be spent on earthquake-proofing buildings. I'm all for saving buildings. I'm a genealogist and historian, and I'm all for old things. But there comes a point, perhaps, when a building should be demolished.
I really remember going upstairs and having morning tea or afternoon tea with my mother. It was just lovely, lovely big shop.
It was
Really
the department store, wasn't it?
It absolutely was, with quite a history. Really caring people in there too.
Do you remember the staircase?
Yes, and it was such a good department store. We could buy just about everything we needed there, and it was just everything that materials and haberdashery and everything. It was just so good, wasn't it?
It is.
Yes.
It's a real family store.
There's nothing that's...
And the people, the Trathans here, they were so good. Yeah.
Good family
Good
store.
family.
Yes. Do you think anything's equal to that anymore here?
No, we've lost our department stores like that. Yes.
Yeah.
I think we still miss the fact that people used to come and actually serve us.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's an old-fashioned thing now, but it was.
Yes.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good public relations, wasn't it?
It was lovely. Yes. Yeah. No, we miss it very much.
Yeah.
The department stores.
So it's going to be quite a loss. Have you had a look
and
up?
a lovely building.
Yeah, certainly do. It's going back a little while now, isn't it? For sure.
Yeah.
But, I can see it quite clearly. The Trathan family and different people who worked there over the years. It's going back a long time though.
Yeah. Do you think Nelson's lacking not having a department store like this anymore?
I don't think so, but I think one of the saddest things is that the beautiful old building like this has to go. We've just about lost all of our lovely buildings in Nelson now for various reasons, and so a lot of that history has sort of been lost, and this is probably one of the last, and quite sad to see it go.
After the break, we'll bring you the latest weather update and some events and happenings coming up from around the region.
Are you looking for a scooter, walker, wheelchair, baby seats or pushchairs? Then come in and see the Nelson Region Specialist at Mobility for You, 269 Queen Street, Richmond, opposite the library. We have a huge selection of scooters, walkers, wheelchairs and accessories, along with a free booklet guide. We also provide a breakdown service if you ever get a puncture or a flat battery. We have fully equipped service vans to rescue you. Hi, I'm Robin Jordan and I invite you to call in and see the friendly team at Mobility for You, 269 Queen Street, Richmond, opposite the library.
Why would you want to pay as much as $1,000 for a single bed mattress when you can buy a high quality locally made mattress like this for as little as $220? And a queen size mattress could cost you in excess of $3,000, but at Nelson Beds you could have a mattress like this as low as $425. So why would you go out and spend a fortune on your child's bedroom when you can come to Nelson Beds and buy a complete single mattress and base set, a 7-drawer Scotch chest, a headboard and a 3-drawer bedside cabinet for as little as $979? So call and discuss our custom manufacturing options and local after sales service at Nelson Beds, Nelson's only bedding manufacturer.
We're the team at JCar, right here in Nelson, 120 Hardy Street. Our shop is full of electronic items,
including security alarm systems, electronic components,
solar and power,
electronics toys,
sound systems, cables, and much, much more. JCar.
120 Hardy Street, Nelson.
I'm Larry London from VOA Music Mix, bringing you news on the hour from around the world, plus music 24/7, from the latest hits to those classic favorites to jazz on Saturday mornings, plus much, much more. You can contact us by Googling Mainland TV or follow us on Facebook. Cheers from the team at Mainland Radio 1 and VOA Music Mix.
Hi there, Julian Toon, Waimea Telecommunications. We install and maintain domestic and commercial satellite TV, UHF Freeview and Mainland TV installations in the Nelson, Tasman regions. We specialise in Panasonic telephone systems and provide communications, Wi-Fi, IT and wiring for internet, fibre, computers and DSL systems. At Waimea Telecommunications, we also provide specialist electronic systems for features such as a security camera you can watch on your TV, visitor alert systems and much more. Improve your security and communication and entertainment today. Call us on Waimea Telecommunications on 021 472297, ytel.co.nz.
Sit and Be Fit is on at the Victory Community Centre Tuesdays and Thursdays at 10 a.m. at the Victory Community Church, 238 Upper Vanguard Street. School terms only. Fun while you get fitter, work at your level.
On behalf of the team here at Mainland Television News, thank you for joining us, and we'll bring you the latest news and events from around the region again next week.
Supporting local content so you can see more of New Zealand on air.
Nelson Tire Centre. Great prices, great service. Buy your own Bryford trailer. All types, all sizes. See Colin Douglas for your tires and batteries.
Are you looking for a scooter, walker, wheelchair, baby seats or pushchairs? Then come in and see the Nelson Region Specialist at Mobility for You, 269 Queen Street, Richmond, opposite the library. We have a huge selection of scooters, walkers, wheelchairs and accessories, along with a free booklet guide. We also provide a breakdown service if you ever get a puncture or a flat battery. We have fully equipped service vans to rescue you. Hi, I'm Robin Jordan and I invite you to call in and see the friendly team at Mobility for You, 269 Queen Street, Richmond, opposite the library.
We're the team at JCar, right here in Nelson, 120 Hardy Street. Our shop is full of electronic items,
including security alarm systems, electronic components,
solar and power,
electronics toys,
sound systems, cables and much, much more. JCar.
120 Hardy Street, Nelson.
Hi there, Julian Toon, Waimea Telecommunications. We install and maintain domestic and commercial satellite TV, UHF Freeview and Mainland TV installations in the Nelson, Tasman regions. We specialise in Panasonic telephone systems and provide communications, Wi-Fi, IT and wiring for internet, fibre, computers and DSL systems. At Waimea Telecommunications, we also provide specialist electronic systems for features such as a security camera you can watch on your TV, visitor alert systems and much more. Improve your security and communication and entertainment today. Call us on Waimea Telecommunications on 021 472297, ytel.co.nz.